What is going on, all of you SEGA fanatics out there in the world? I am MegaAmpster. Thank you for checking out this YouTube video. If you are new here, hey, welcome to the channel. Good to see new viewers here, always. Returning viewers, same thing. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate all of you for watching. I was originally going to make this a YouTube short because almost 2 weeks ago, as of this recording, I did talk about the initial reveal trailer, if you will, during the Game Awards 2023 for 5 new SEGA games that SEGA was confirmed were in development for Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Crazy Taxi. They also confirmed more would be showing up, but I was like, okay, I won't do a separate video because I already made one originally, but there is a lot to unpack here because very recently, literally just as like of, this you can see this presentation stated like 9-10 days ago max. SEGA Sammy, obviously the parent company for SEGA, known for making their games, in Japan, they had like you see here, a management meeting of a bunch of slides and stuff. And what's cool about this, normally like I don't go into the business details here, but there are actually a few more details we've gotten on all 5 of those games mentioned, mainly for Jet Set Radio, but not just Jet Set Radio, so I wanted to kind of go over quickly here. And then afterwards, there was a leak last week as of this recording that I didn't cover, I kind of forgot to, about potentially more SEGA games that are coming, so I'll say that for like second half of the video though, so in case you don't want to be spoiled on other SEGA games that are happening. So first of all, we're going to go through the SEGA Sammy presentation. This management meeting they had December 12th and 13th of 2023 is when this is dated for. You can see here just kind of a general big business structure thing. So we're not going to go through all of these details, but they kind of go through pioneering, always innovating, creation is life, value, mindset, and DNA. This is such like corporate BS, so we don't need to go through all this. They have a plan for growth and all that, achievements, blah, 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 blah. All right, strategic portfolio, 3 years of core strategy. Strategy 1, strengthen the global branding of existing IPs. All right, well, Sonic, Persona, I believe this is Like a Dragon, and then Phantasy Star Online 2. Makes sense, those are kind of their big, Phantasy Star seems like their big ongoing game. Persona 5 they've been milking. I like how it's specifically Persona 5 and not even just Persona. But you can see here, right, so those are kind of the 4 ones they're doing now, right? And then amusement machines, mobile games. I'm guessing amusement machines are referring to arcades, which they're still pretty prevalent in the arcade business, it seems, in Japan. 5-year core strategy, though, creation of their super game. Now, I want to correct, well, actually, I did correct myself in the last SEGA video, but I don't believe what we saw there was SEGA's super game. I'm still wondering if those 5 new games are going to be tied in somehow, especially like Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi, I think could be tied in somehow, but I don't think they are the super game that SEGA is referring to. I think those will, most of those will probably come out before SEGA's super game. And utilize past IPs. You can see here, SEGA, thank you. Thank you for this one bullet point right there. We'll see if they actually go through with that. But then, yeah, a bunch of this stuff. They're kind of going some of the stuff here. Recovery trend from the COVID-19 market. Sonic Frontiers merch. You love to see it. I don't know some of this other stuff. Anime? Okay. Interesting. Cool stuff. Consumer area, I don't know, Project Sakai's. That's not the Hatsune Miku thing, is it? But anyways, we don't need to go through all of this. They just kind of talk about different key areas, healthy discussions, all this stuff. They talk about the European division. I don't know if I saw anything about their American division, but I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Our grown mainstay IP into a global brand. I love that it's Persona 5 and not even Persona. I think that's hysterical. But hey, prolonging product life cycles, utilization of IP assets, that's huge. That is huge. Like, thank you. Strengthening mix of media. So I know we've, heard rumors about stuff like a Comic Zone movie. I think there was a Space Channel 5 movie potentially mentioned, which would be really weird, but like, maybe they'll do it. But maybe doing the same strategy that Nintendo is doing with their IPs and, amusement parks, movies, stuff like that. I think SEGA might be trying to do a similar plan here. Will it be as successful? No way. But maybe they'll try it. We'll see what happens from there. Game sales and licensing revenue. Interestingly, the licensing revenue for Sonic has gone way up, but Persona doesn't have much, and a little bit for Like a Dragon, but not much at all. Really, Sonic, the licensing revenue. I wonder if that's licensing for like merchandise and stuff. I mean, out of these 3, Sonic definitely has the most merchandise, no doubt. Talk about the markets here, blah, 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 global trends, more expansion. They talk about Angry Birds, which if you heard, they bought Rovio, the company behind Angry Birds, so technically SEGA now owns them. Which is kind of weird, so we'll see if they go further into, yep, PC. Oh, what does it say? PC console deployment of Angry Birds IP. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Is it not? I mean, I guess it's really just mobile specifically. Several new Sonic titles for mobile are under development. Interesting. Okay. So this was after Dream Team was revealed. So, I mean, makes sense. Specifically, they mentioned Sonic, though, which is interesting. Yeah, and I'm sure Persona and Like a Dragon we'll see going forward. So obviously they're trying to do that. Animation. Different game Persona series. Of course, we've got, yeah, the Persona 3 Reload coming out. Tactica just came out. All their remasters and stuff. Persona 5 X, I've heard about this. This is a mobile game, I think. So they're going to keep going with that. Metaphor Fantasio, of course, from Atlas. We'll see what happens there. Territory expansion. Yeah, that doesn't sound sketchy at all. Of course, all the Like a Dragon games. All right, here we go. First of all, I mean, good to see. Good to see. Infinite Wealth, main race's name, good stuff. This is the slide we're very interested in, though, today. This has a few details, lore, and innovation on those 5 games that were announced during the Game Awards 2023. So I'm going to really zoom in on each of these individually. So first of all, sorry, it's going to get a little blurry here, but we've got Crazy Taxi, same logo as the classic one. Innovative and fresh driving style driving action. Interesting that like some people are flying out of their cars. I don't know if that's going to be a mechanic or that's just what it is. Supposedly screenshots from these games too here. Cheerful feeling of freedom, cross fusion of nature and city. That, I feel like that's just a throwaway text, but like, does that mean that nature's going to play a bigger role? I mean, like, depending on where it takes place, which I imagine, what was the original? Was it San Francisco? Let me know in the comments below. Peel out the new stage of Crazy City. So then again, I don't know if this is also roughly translated. This doesn't really mean anything to me, but it is cool to see. There's probably, considering there are multiple cars on the screen, multiple taxis here at once, there's probably going to be some multiplayer component, whether it's online or not. I imagine it'll be online of some sort, but not too much from Crazy Taxi there. Jet Set Radio is the big one, all right. Jet Set Radio, we get a look at some of this. This might be Gum. This might be a Gum redesign. On the right here, the person on the left reminds me, I don't think that's DJ Professor K. He doesn't have the dread, so I don't think it's him. But it reminds me of the dude, oh, was his name Boom? What was his name? Jet Set Radio fans in the comments below, let me know. In the first game, the one who carried the boombox around, what was his name? I think it was something like that. That might be him. Hard to say, though. Could be a new character, too. Counterculture, Tokyo Street, open world. This is a big deal because Jet Set Radio, especially Future, was one open connected area. So this could just mean similar to Future, but I also wonder if this is going to take the next step and open it up even more. I mean, out of all of these, Jet Set Radio definitely has the most kind of easy path to becoming an open world style game. I hope they don't go like crazy, but if it's like open world exploring like the whole city of like Shibuya and Tokyo and all that, like that would be sick. Experience the rebellion movement that feels free in a suffocating society. I wonder if the suffocating society, I don't know if they're going to go in depth on that. Probably not, but we'll see. Make friends, increase your fans, and create a movement. So the increase your fans is definitely interesting. So make friends, of course, you did in the other Jet Set Radio games and Bomber Cyberpunk, but increase your fans. I wonder if there's going to be like a new mechanic related to that. So maybe there will be more of like a, I don't want to say political thing in this game, but you know what I mean? Like there's going to be more of like a societal kind of taking back society kind of vibe with this game, and as a result, you're going to increase your fan base. So we'll see. There might, watch there be like influencer stuff in this game. I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see what happens there. But the open world is the big thing here. There's some blurry screenshots you can see here too. This reminds me here, this bottom screenshot of a map from Future, but it's in daytime. That one was in nighttime, so maybe not. But we'll see what happens here. Cool to get new details here for Jet Set Radio. But of course, we got others as well. We've got Shinobi here. Slay the enemies in the silence of the moment. Run through the world of Shinobi, full of monsters and ninja actions. Interesting. I think the translation here is a little weird. Grab Oburuzuki, the legendary sword, and slay evil once more. Your clan and world are counting on you. This looks like Joe Musashi from like the classic Genesis games to me. I'm trying to figure out if it is. What I do want to see is Shinobi. Shinobi Phantom. It's a legendary katana passed down through the Oburo ninja clan. Okay, so it is in, right, okay, so it is in previous Shinobi games. That's what I was wondering. The favorite weapon of Joe All right, I think that almost, it doesn't confirm, but I feel like it pretty much confirms this is going to be Joe Musashi. It's possible it was just passed down in the Oboro clan, but I feel like this might end up being him. Not too much details here. I never played the classic Shinobi game, so I'm not too familiar with them, but like aliens and stuff, that's interesting. Weird creatures going on there. A little bit of a screenshot there. Hard to see, but yeah, is that a military helicopter? Like, what the heck? This will be an interesting game to see. This honestly, like, I'm excited for Jet Set Radio. The Shinobi game, the footage looked amazing, so I'm definitely excited for that. One of my most excited games, honestly, out of these 5, so I'm curious to see how that one goes. Streets of Rage, we actually do get new details a little bit. Not much, but we have a working subtitle now. So this is Streets of Rage Revolution, so not 5. I mean, they can't really do 4, even though I know that they kind of gave their blessing on 4, right? I forget the team. Let me know in the comments below what team made 4. But I mean, it's good to not number it because considering they're going 3D with this one, so Revolution, kind of make it new. Beloved side-scrolling beat-em-up action series. Right, so side-scrolling beat-em-up action series. They're not saying the game's a side-scroller. Take control of one of the ex-officers, who I'm guessing is Axel Stone here, and make the city a place where people no longer have to walk the streets of Rage. That's funny. There's like a combo meter going on here, I think, but you can see there's New Pacifica. There's a screenshot here with, yeah, like that third-person view, but it's going to be a 3D brawler, it looks like, so that'll be interesting to see. You know, we'll see where they take that. Not too much else to glean from this. I'm also not super familiar with Streets of Rage, but I know some of you are. Let me know in the comments below if this looks interesting to you at all. Finally, we've got Golden Axe, which this probably has the least new stuff about it, at least to me personally. Warriors arise to subdue the demons, defeat your enemies with a variety of attacks with swords and magic. The legendary story about the battle axe, Golden Axe, is about to begin. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with Golden Axe. Let me know in the comments below if you are and you know what's going on. I know this is Gilius Thunderhead here, and I'm assuming, is he wielding the Golden Axe? Or is that just, maybe that's just like a generic axe that he likes. I don't know. These other 2 characters, I don't know if they're from the Genesis games. Maybe they're redesigns, but I'm 90% sure this is going to be Gilius. And the only reason why I know him is because of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform, which is funny, but you can also see this screenshot on the bottom right. Reminds me of an area in Monster Hunter Rise for whatever reason, just kind of like one of the environments there. So not too many details here, but you can see, I'm sure if I was more familiar with Golden Axe, I could probably pick this apart more, but I'm really not. But we'll see. Those are kind of the 5 things to go through. The big thing to take away from this, though, is, I mean, Streets of Rage having a subtitle is cool. Working subtitle, I'm sure, but Revolution's a good name. But also Jet Set Radio. Like, being open world, that is a huge deal for sure. So definitely wanted to just shout that out here in this video. But I do want to talk about some other stuff as well. I know I did not mean to flash the trademarks on the screen earlier. Hopefully you avoided that. I guess I can even edit it out. Maybe I'll edit it out very quickly. If you do not want to be spoiled on potential other SEGA games that very well could be coming, because these are trademarks that SEGA placed very recently that could definitely, I mean, they could just be renewing it just in case, but it also could point to them doing new games in these series. So there's a bunch in here, probably around like 10 more or so. It's kind of crazy. So if you don't want to be spoiled, definitely click off the video now. Give you a few seconds for that. Shout out to Tee Lopes for the DLC for Streets of Rage 4 for the soundtrack. All right, with that though, over on X, this was about a week ago as of this recording, Gematsu noticed some trademarks for some of the SEGA games we knew were coming back. There's a bunch that we didn't. Now, take this with a grain of salt still. I mean, trademarks are pretty potent, essentially, SEGA's gonna wanna renew the trademarks on some of these titles for these series, just in case, or maybe because there actually are gonna be games in those series that are coming back. Now, do not take this as confirmation of all these, just some ideas of stuff that we could definitely see. I bet you we will see at least a couple of these. So with that, we're gonna go over to X. Last spoiler warning right now. All right, we're going over. So this was on to actually same day as this meeting here. Oh, sorry, no. They tweeted this out on the same day. SEGA filed the four trademarks for December on December 6th, which were made public today. Now, one of these we already know, which is Jet Set Radio. However, Altered Beast is a weird pick. Didn't that have an Xbox game? Let me know in the comments below if it did. I thought it did. Weird pull. Could be pretty cool though with the whole animal transformation mechanic. I have played the original game. Not a huge fan of it, but it's interesting in its own right. Eternal Champions I'm actually not super familiar with, but from what I've heard, that is kind of a deep cut from maybe the Sega CD? Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but that's cool. I think it's a fighting game. And Kid Chameleon's also a weird pick. I've played very little of that game on the Genesis, but oh well, there we go. The fact that Jet Set Radio is here grouped with it, I don't think this confirms that these three series are going to get new games anytime soon, but it could be remasters, it could be new games, it could just be renewing it for the sake of renewing it just to be safe. So just wanted to point your attention here. We'll see what happens there. However, that wasn't all of it though. Gematsu keeps going. They talk about the new games, but the 5 that were announced at the Game Awards. But then 8 more trademarks filed on December 6th, made public today. Now, this includes Shinobi, which we saw, Crazy Taxi, which we saw, and Streets of Rage, which we saw. No Golden Axe in this list, which is interesting. Super Monkey Ball, I don't think is surprising. I think, you know, we got Banana Mania. I think there is renewed interest in making more Monkey Ball games, and I feel like they've been consistent with those despite the quality for a while now, so that's not surprising. Alex Kidd is the one that's most surprising to me, because Alex Kidd was created to originally before Sonic to be the Sega mascot that really combated Mario. And I played Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, not Miracle World. I've only played Enchanted Castle. I think there was a quote-unquote new game that was released a few years ago, if I remember correctly. And like the gameplay was all about like playing rock, paper, scissors to fight bosses. It was a really weird kind of gameplay style that I wasn't a huge fan of. So if they bring it back and try to make it relevant, I don't know how they're gonna do it. This could just be a remaster of sorts. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but if they do, just like get rid of that rock, paper, scissors thing. Do something else, because man, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to distinguish it from something like even Sonic or Mario. I don't know what they're going to do. So that's a weird one to me. Afterburn is cool. I'm not super familiar with it. Is that the arcade game? Is it a racing game? Or is it the Jet game? That might be the Jet game. I don't know. Not as familiar with that. House of the Dead, though, I'm very familiar with. There was that like a remaster of House of the Dead 1 or 2 that came out a couple years ago from Forever Entertainment, right? Didn't they do that? I didn't hear anything about that after it released. Good to see it. Classic arcade game, and I played 2 on the Dreamcast a lot, so if they bring that back, hopefully with like the proper controls, then we'll see. Outrun, I know that's a racing game, a very popular Sega racing game, so that'll be really cool to see. Get more arcade racers in here. And that's pretty much all to cover. The most surprising one out of all these for me, Alex Kidd and Altered Beast are the 2 that even Kid Chameleon I'm kind of shocked by, so we'll see. This might not even be all of it. They might just be going through their classic IP list and renewing these trademarks. Like I said, take this with a huge grain of salt, because this does not confirm we're going to get a new game or remaster out of any of these. You know, it really doesn't. But if anything, we might get a couple, you know, and see over time. This is going to be a long-term plan for Sega. See where it grows, right? Based on what we saw in that SEGA Sammy presentation, they're going to try to rejuvenate some of their old IPs for, you know, just continued growth besides just their core pillars of Sonic, Persona, Like a Dragon, and Phantasy Star Online. So we'll see what this means. Hopefully this is a good sign for more Sega Legacy IPs. I'm still rooting for, like, Knights is probably the top of my list. I really want to see Knights come back. Space Channel 5 would be interesting. That'd be cool. Yeah, Comic Zone would be awesome. Comic Zone would be... I want to see Vector Man come back too. Bring back Vector Man. That'd be sick. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the new details we learned about the 5 games that were announced at the Game Awards. Kind of, you know, Jet Set Radio being open world, Streets of Rage getting a subtitle there, Crazy Taxi maybe being multiplayer, which would be cool. And also let me know your thoughts on some of these trademarks, you know, if any of these really stick out to you, if you would love to see a new game in any of these IPs come back, you know, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, hey, Sega fans, the next 10 years, I think we're going to see some interesting stuff from Sega. I don't want to say quality, but I'll say interesting. They're going back to their old IP, which is great. So keep an eye on that, and I will catch you all on the next video live stream. And until then, stay fresh.